Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. So I know a lot of you guys, you game collectors, have stopped going to half-price books, Second and Charles, and other similar stores. You know, these big bookstores, sometimes they're chains that have records and DVDs and movies and video games and, you know, VHS and all this kind of stuff. You've stopped going because these places are wise to how much video games are worth now. So now, when Half Price Books, for example, when they get in a bunch of older games, they will look them up on eBay or video game price charting or elsewhere, and they will put them out for collector prices. You're not going to find them for Half Price Books like we did back in the day. I want to show you one quick example. I want to show you some tips and tricks for I still go to Half Price Books. Had an epic find recently. I want to show you guys that in just a minute. But I still go to Half Price Books and places like this on a regular basis and still find cool gaming items. And I want to give you some tips and tricks for that and show you what I found in just a second. Now, back in the day, I don't know, about 10 or 15 years ago, I found this copy of Slurpee for 50 cents. Well, these days are long gone. Half Price, you know, this was just thrown in with some more common and cheaper ColecoVision and Atari 2600 games, you know, common ones that aren't really worth anything or not worth much. Slurpee is pretty valuable, pretty hard to find. They just had it thrown in for 50 cents. This rarely, if ever, happens at these kinds of stores anymore because they know what this stuff is worth. And if Half Price Books had a subtitle, it would be Half Price Books / Full Price Games. But they do have some cool stuff that you can find that you can still collect today if you know what you're doing. I'll give you some tips and tricks on that. For example, what you guys need to do is go to other sections of the store other than the video game section. I will get to the video game section of Half Price Books towards the end of this video and tell you a little bit about that it's still worth going to. But I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on finding gaming related items in other parts of the stores and why you should still go. So just recently, I was at a Half Price Books in Burleson, which is a suburb of Fort Worth, Texas, and I found this remarkable item in mint condition, the Nintendo comic system. Now, you guys know that the comic books published by Valiant for Nintendo, they're really hard to find now, the individual comics. And this like graphic novel, trade paperback collection is perhaps even harder to find than the comic books themselves. I found this in the magazine section at Half Price Books. Now, most Half Price Books that would get this in, they would flag it. They would see that it's an older, rare item that's worth some money, and they would probably put it in their vintage section or their video game section for maybe 50 bucks or more, maybe 80 or 100, who knows. But it would definitely be more than $1. But it's magazine sized, and this particular Half Price Books, the buyer, the person pricing the stuff, whatever, they put it out in the magazine section with no price on it. Now, most half-price bookstores sell their magazines most of their magazines for $1 a piece. They'll mark up collectible ones or older ones sometimes, but most of their magazines are just $1 a piece, or maybe $2 each at some locations. They had this unmarked in the magazine section in the video game, gaming magazines. Mostly you see Game Informer, and you're not usually going to find something like Electronic Games or Joystick, like the older 80s magazines. But sometimes you'll find some 90s magazines that you might find cool, and you might just find a prize like this. Awesome, $1, incredible find. I mean, look at this, guys. This is just freaking gorgeous. I'm really excited about that. So you definitely want to go to the magazine section when you go to Half Price Books. You should also go, when you're in the magazine section, check out Mad and Cracked magazine, because these turn up pretty frequently. Video game and computer game parodies. This has a parody of the movie War Games. It's pretty cool, gaming related. And something like this, Super Mario Brothers, Mad Magazine. Now, this might not be your cup of tea, but I love this kind of stuff. The stories are actually pretty funny sometimes. And I love the covers, the cool art, love this kind of stuff. So when you go to Half Price Books, don't just go to the gaming section. Go to the magazine section as well. You never know what you'll find. They do have the Mad magazine sometimes priced up, $3, $4, $5 or sometimes more. They're not usually going to be $1, but you never know. From store to store, it varies. You guys should also go to the books on antiques and collectibles. And you're thinking, what? Yeah, I frequently see some of the pinball books published by Schiffer and other publishers in the the antiques and collectibles section of Half Price Books, and I run across these pretty frequently. These two books here, I see these frequently in the antiques and collectibles section of Half Price Books. They don't typically put these in the video game section. These books are published by Schiffer, you know, the same company that does my omnibus books. These are really cool, really colorful, you know, all kinds of, just an incredible amount of Pac-Man memorabilia in this book, including some stuff I had never seen. You know, Pac-Mania of 81. You know, 81 is really when Pac-Mania really kicked in big and all this merchandise started coming out. Super cool. So you will see these and some other books on, you know, video game collectibles in that section of the store. So don't just go to the gaming section. Go to other sections of the store, including the DVDs and VHS. And not just the main sections for DVDs and VHS. Go to the clearance section for these sections as well. Usually at the back of the store, you'll see a big, if you're at Half Price Books, you'll see a big sign called, you know, the big clearance sign, and you can find some pretty cool stuff. I found this beautiful copy of Tron on VHS. There's no cracks. It's a nice white. You know, it hasn't yellowed. It is really awesome. And, you know, yeah, I've got Tron on DVD. What of it? This looks amazing in my office on my gaming shelf. You know, where I have action figures and stuff like that. It is super cool. And in the DVD clearance section, that's where I got my copy of Mortal Kombat and my copy of Pixels. Not a great movie. I didn't want to pay full price for this, but I was happy to pay $1 for it in the DVD clearance section at Half Price. And check this out. Not the best looking cover in the world. Half Price Books, they might have put this directly into the clearance section. It was $1. Video games behind the fun. It's something, right? Worth $1. To be honest with you, I haven't watched it yet, so I can't comment on it, but hey, for $1, it's worth taking a chance. Now, speaking of clearance sections, you should obviously, you know, go to the regular video game section, which I'll get to in a little bit. But while you're back in the clearance section, the DVD clearance section, usually close by or mixed in, are video games on clearance. For example, I found Batman Arkham Asylum. I've been playing this recently. Look at that, $3. They frequently put PS2, Xbox, Xbox 360, PS3, you know, those kinds of systems, games for $3 each. Sometimes as low as $2 each, occasionally $1 a piece, but usually $3. Now, typically these are games that are only worth about $8 or $10, but hey, $3 is a good deal, especially if they're complete and mint. I'll always go there. I'll find some stuff to resell, you know, flip for $6 or $8 it shows, or I'll find a lot of stuff just for my collection, like that Batman game. And like I said, I'll get to the regular video game section in a minute and tell you why it's still valuable to go there. All right, guys, one place you should go in Half Price Books is these big areas where they have gift books. I recently found Playing with Superpower, Super NES Classics. I picked this up. It's not comprehensive, but it's pretty neat because the book is shaped, you know, has the look of a Super Nintendo cartridge, and it's pretty colorful. It looks neat. Fine book, but it was just $12. You know, marked way down. I'm not sure what that went to begin with, but it's a nice hardcover book with a dust jacket. I'm sure it was more than $12. I found that just in their gift book section where they have these big remaindered books, which means they've been closed out. You know, they had too many copies and they just dumped them. $12. Not bad at all, guys. Half Price Books sales. Now, sometimes, I don't know if any other chains do that, you know, used bookstores these days have these, but Half Price Books will have once or twice a year, whatever, depending on the city. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I live, they'll have 1 or 2 of these a year. They have these big clearance sales. And these are worth going to, too. I'll show you something I found for just $2. Video Game Bible. Now, this is not a book you see too often. And I know a couple of these writers, which is pretty cool, including Andy Slavin, editor-in-chief. He's written some stories for my omnibus books. $2 for this bad boy, not bad at all. So getting back to the actual stores themselves, go to the record section. And when you're in the record section, look at like movie soundtracks, because you might find soundtracks to your favorite films. A guy right in front of me a while back plucked a copy of The Wizard. Too little, too late. for me. Actually, that might have been that was actually the laser disc. But anyway, go to the movie and record section because they're usually by each other. Go look at the DVDs, the laser discs, the records, the VHS, and all that kind of stuff. Check out this soundtrack. So while you're in the records, you definitely want to look at soundtracks and children's records because you do see gaming stuff in there sometimes. Look at this. Now, as a game collector, I also collect pinball. This is Tilt, the Brooke Shields movie, where she's a pinball wizard, a pinball shark, and she goes from town to town bilking people out of money because she's so great at pinball. This is actually a for promotion only copy. Pretty cool, huh? This was probably $5 or $8. Well worth it. Really neat. I love that cover. It really pops. And hey, I like oddball gaming items. Now, this was a really nice score. Yes, check the Laserdisc section because I got this Disney's exclusive archival edition of Tron on Laserdisc. Now, I did a video on my Tron collection, which I'll put a link to. You can check out more about my Tron collection in that and get more info on that and just see some more stuff in my Tron collection, focusing on half-price books today. Now, you will also want to go to half-price books and similar stores also sell toys and electronic gadgets. I found this Joust, and I found some other ones too, in the box, new, for just $9.99. And that's marked down pretty much lower than what these originally retailed for. I'm not even sure what these went for, but you know, they do get stuff like this pretty frequently. And you will also want to go to the children's section in half-price books. Look at their DVDs. You can find some Mario and Sonic cartoons, Legend of Zelda cartoons, and things like that pretty frequently for not too expensive. And be sure and check out their the children's section books, the trade paperbacks, you know, the mass market size paperbacks, and the paperbacks that are a little bigger like this one. This was a half-price books find. This is a novel. I love stuff like this. It's just, you know, during the video game craze. And let's see. And I actually found my Worlds of Power books at a half-price books. There was one half-price books while we were traveling, somewhere in Texas. I think the Houston area maybe. That's where I got all my Worlds of Power books. These were they were marked up a little bit over cover, but they were just $3.99 each, which you guys know is a great price for these. I found all of these, plus this one, for $3.99 at one half-price books. And that wasn't that long ago. So pretty cool stuff, guys. You will also want to go to the movie tie-in section when you go to these used bookstores. This wasn't half-price books, but it was another used bookstore in their movie tie-in section. Daryl, based on the film, gaming related for sure. And Tron. I see this turn up at half price every few months. There'll be a copy of Tron in the movie tie-in section. And it's, you know, usually not much more than $5 or $8, sometimes even less. Pretty awesome. Now, you will also want to go, oh, here's another novel I found. So yeah, just look in the general novel sections. Now, for you guys, if you don't enjoy game hunting, if you don't love the thrill of the chase, maybe it's not worth it to you. But I still love it. I still enjoy it. So let's get to the actual video game sections at half-price books and related stores. Yes, most stuff is marked up at retail, but you can still find some pretty cool stuff. Like I found just recently, Mighty No. 9. I'd always wanted to play this for the Wii U. And this copy was just $9.99, and it's probably not worth much more than that, or it may be worth about that. Regardless, it was complete, it was in mint condition, and I've been wanting to play it. It's sort of like Mega Man. And I've been wanting to play it for a while, and I'm having a good time with it, so pretty cool stuff. I want you guys to let me know in the comments any tips and tricks you have for buying gaming-related items at used bookstores. Again, the video game sections of these stores, the prices have gone way up, but you can still find some stuff, you know, at retail if you don't mind that paying retail prices, and you can still, you know, go to the gaming section. Obviously, if you're a gamer and you go into a used bookstore, that has video games, you're obviously going to look at the main section. I actually rarely buy anything in the main section. I find stuff in these other places, like the you know, just the paperback books, the record section, the video section, the clearance section. I buy a lot of actual games in the clearance section of half-price books. Once they've been in there a certain amount of time, they haven't sold, half-price books and other similar stores will mark them down to, you know, much less below retail. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for subscribing. Again, you can let me know your finds you've made at used bookstores, or you can just put any tips and tricks you have for shopping at these kind of stores for gaming related items. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. We will talk to you guys in another video. If you're a fan of my work, you might want to consider supporting me on Patreon. For just a low fee each month, you get a lot of extra content. Another way to support the channel and my writing career is to buy books direct from me, including the 100 Greatest Console Video Games, the Classic Home Video Game Series. It's like an encyclopedia set. And this massive bad boy, the NES Omnibus Volume 1 A through L. I will put links in the description of this video where you can buy books direct from me and where you can support me on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.